Hello everyone, welcome back to my new video. Canada. Canada, often seen as a dream destination for immigrants, is suddenly making headlines for all the wrong reasons. In 2025, new immigration policies have sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving thousands of foreign workers, students, and even permanent residents unsure about their future in the country. For years, Canada has welcomed millions of newcomers with promises of opportunity, diversity, and stability. But now, the rules have changed, and not everyone gets to stay. These aren't just small tweaks to the system. We're talking about stricter visa regulations, reduced work permit durations, tougher permanent residency pathways, and, in some cases, unexpected deportations. The government says these measures are necessary to protect its job market, housing availability, and healthcare system. Critics argue it's a sudden betrayal of those who have built their lives here. So, who exactly has to leave? Which groups are most at risk? And what do these shocking changes mean for the future of immigration to Canada? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you might rethink everything you thought you knew about the land of maple leaves and opportunity. Number 1. Temporary foreign workers in trouble. For years, Canada's Temporary Foreign Worker Program, TFWP, allowed employers to fill labor shortages quickly. But in 2025, the government introduced new restrictions. Work permits for many low-wage jobs have been cut from 2 years to just 1. Worse, renewals are now harder to get, especially in provinces facing high unemployment. This means thousands of temporary workers in sectors like agriculture, food service, retail, and hospitality could be forced to leave when their permits expire. Many came to Canada hoping to transition into permanent residency, but with the new rules, that path has become a steep uphill climb. Employers are panicking too, fearing labor shortages, but for the workers, it's far more personal. It's their entire life and income at stake. Number 2. International students face new hurdles. Canada has been a top destination for international students, attracting over 800,000 in recent years. But in 2025, the student visa landscape changed dramatically. The government has reduced the number of study permits and tightened eligibility criteria to curb what they call education as a backdoor to immigration. Now, students must show significantly higher proof of funds, in some provinces, over $25,000 Canadian dollars a year, and postgraduate work permits, PGWPs, are shorter and more selective. Students enrolled in certain private colleges are no longer eligible for PGWPs at all. This is devastating for those who plan to gain Canadian work experience after graduation and apply for permanent residency. Some are even considering dropping out and returning home because their future in Canada looks uncertain. Number 3. Low-skilled job holders losing their chance at PR. In the past, even low or semi-skilled workers could apply for permanent residency through programs like the Provincial Nominee Program, PNP. But now, many provinces have shifted their focus to only high-demand, high-skilled occupations. This means if you're working as a cashier, delivery driver, factory worker, or cleaner, your chances of staying permanently have dropped sharply. Critics say this ignores the fact that low-skilled workers keep the economy running, but policymakers argue Canada needs to prioritize roles that address its skilled labor shortage. Number 4. Permanent residents with criminal records at risk. One of the most shocking changes is the crackdown on permanent residents, PRs, who commit certain crimes. In 2025, Canada lowered the threshold for deportation, meaning even relatively minor offences, like fraud under $5,000 Canadian dollars or multiple DUIs, could now result in removal orders. Previously, many PRs had legal avenues to appeal deportation, but under the new rules, appeals are limited, and the process moves much faster. This has raised fears in immigrant communities, especially for those who've been in Canada for years but never obtained citizenship. Number 5. Visa overstayers facing swift deportations. Canada has always had immigration enforcement, but in 2025, the system became much more aggressive. Immigration authorities now have more funding and technology to track down visa overstayers. If your work permit, study permit, or visitor visa has expired, you have far less time to regularize your status. In many cases, removal orders are issued within weeks, not months. Even humanitarian appeals are being processed more quickly, leaving many with little hope. Number 6. Changes in family sponsorship rules. Family reunification has long been a core value in Canada's immigration system, but in 2025, sponsorship rules have tightened. Sponsors now need to meet higher income requirements and prove they can financially support their relatives without social assistance. Processing times have also slowed for certain countries, frustrating families who have been waiting years to reunite. Some applicants are being refused entirely if immigration officers believe the sponsor may not meet the financial obligations. Number 7. Refugees and asylum seekers under pressure. Canada is known for being generous toward refugees, but 2025 has brought more skepticism into the system. Claimants now face faster processing deadlines, and those from countries deemed safe are having their applications rejected at higher rates. The government insists this is to prevent abuse of the asylum system, but human rights organizations warn it risks sending vulnerable people back into dangerous situations. Number 8. Provincial immigration caps. One of the biggest surprises of 2025 is the introduction of provincial immigration caps. Certain provinces, overwhelmed by housing shortages and healthcare pressure, have put limits on how many newcomers they will accept each year. This means even qualified candidates might be refused entry simply because their target province has reached its quota. It's a big shift from Canada's previous open arms image. Number 9. Economic immigration getting stricter. Canada's express entry system is still active, but the score requirements in the Comprehensive Ranking System, CRS, have jumped significantly. Age, language skills, and work experience now carry more weight, and if you're over 40, your chances of qualifying have dropped sharply. In short, Canada is looking for younger, highly educated, and highly skilled candidates. Everyone else will find the door much harder to open. 10. The big picture. Why is this happening? So why the sudden change? Officials point to a housing crisis, overloaded healthcare systems, and growing public concern that immigration levels are too high. They argue that these new rules will make immigration more sustainable and ensure newcomers can integrate successfully. But for those already in Canada, and for families hoping to move here, the changes feel like a betrayal. Many invested years, money, and effort into building a life in Canada, only to face uncertain futures overnight. Canada's immigration rules for 2025 have turned the country's welcoming reputation on its head. While the government insists these changes are about sustainability and fairness, the reality is clear: thousands of people will be leaving Canada in the coming months, whether they want to or not. Temporary workers, international students, overstayers, low-skilled employees, and even permanent residents are all at risk. The message from Ottawa is unmistakable: Canada will still welcome newcomers, but only on its terms, and those terms have never been stricter. For many, the dream of a Canadian life has turned into a race against time to secure legal status. For others, it's a painful goodbye to the country they thought would be home forever. So, as the maple leaf flag still waves proudly across the nation, one question lingers. Is Canada still the land of opportunity, or has it become a gatekeeper that only opens its doors to the few who fit an increasingly narrow definition of the ideal immigrant?